Hello, I'm Lara Kulcherson and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. While the world's eyes were on the peace deal between Hamas and Israel, the Nobel Peace Prize was making headlines of its own. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado won the award for her fight to restore democracy in the country. The Nobel Committee praised her as a champion of peace and a unifying force within Venezuela's divided opposition. But her win has sparked a backlash after she dedicated the award to US President Donald Trump. Critics have also pointed to her past support for Israel and calls for foreign intervention in Venezuela.
I mean, it's so absurd that Venezuela's far-right opposition figure, Maria Corina Machado, just won the Peace Prize. Yes, she's the same Machado who called for foreign intervention in Venezuela, who cheered the 2002 coup, and literally appealed to Benjamin Netanyahu, yes, Israel's Netanyahu, to help liberate Venezuela.
Yeah, and doesn't she also support the U.S. sanctions that have been hurting ordinary Venezuelans? And doesn't she call for the privatization of the state's oil industry and support those horrible far-right Latin America leaders like Argentines Javier Milei and El Salvador's Nayib Bukele?
Yeah, she's definitely not a peacemaker. But you know, neither was Henry Kissinger, who won the Peace Prize while raining bombs on Cambodia, or Barack Obama, who won it while expanding drone wars and turning hope into airstrikes. So now Maria Corina joins the club, just proving that the Nobel Peace Prize just stopped being about peace a long time ago.
Following the ceasefire, Gazans are returning to homes reduced to rubble, and the enclave remains far from safe. Israeli-backed militias are clashing with Hamas, leaving several dead. Among them was Saleh al-Jafarawi, an influencer turned journalist who documented the war from inside Gaza. Shortly after his death, Meta deleted his Instagram account. It had already been suspended several times while he was alive.
Al-Jafarawi was slain by an Israeli-backed militia in Gaza while reporting on clashes between Hamas security forces and these criminal gangs. This comes less than a month after Israeli propagandist Avichai Adrai accused Saleh of collaborating with Hamas, a common tactic Israel uses to justify its war crimes against journalists.
And the fact that he's been reporting on what happened, he survived everything that happened. Just to be announced dead, this man had been threatened the entire 2 years that he was reporting, and it never made him stop. He had to create so many Instagram pages because they kept getting banned, and I was just on his page 30 minutes ago taking screenshots of what I could, and once again, his page is banned. This was literally him just yesterday, happily sitting on the couch with his cat.
As if the murder of Saleh isn't devastating enough, I just found out his brother was kidnapped by terrorist Israelis a year ago, and he is scheduled to be released tomorrow. Can you imagine coming out, being happy to see your family again, only to find out that a huge part of your family is gone, and that your brother is gone, and that he was killed just hours before you were released?
A wave of discontent is sweeping across the world as youth-led movements rise up, demanding change. Gen Z is now a driving force in political and social debates, mobilizing fast through social media. This year, demonstrations have shaken countries from Indonesia to Kenya, Nepal, and the Philippines. And while they may look organized, most are leaderless, with no political party or institution behind them. Born in online spaces, from Facebook and TikTok to Discord, these movements are rewriting the rules of protest. In some countries, they've even brought governments down.
Gen Z have a powerful tool that many generations before them didn't have: social media. Millions can now organize and rally around a cause faster than we have ever seen before. And not only that, but because of its global reach, these youth-led movements are learning from one another. Many around the world share similarities in strategies like decentralized leadership, the rapid circulation of digital content, and now even the use of shared cultural symbols. The thing is, it's only just begun.
Young people in Madagascar are reading the same script. A movement known as Gen Z Mada is leading protests over constant cuts to water and electricity. And in a country where nearly 80% of the population lives in poverty, frustration over daily hardships has quickly turned into anger at those in power.
The first demand people talk about is mostly about dignity. That means ending corruption, answering basic needs, water, electricity, jobs, security, and the freedom to speak. Young people see themselves as the generation with nothing left to lose, and that gives them power. They feel abandoned because no jobs, no decent school, no future. So they have decided to fight for one. Many are connected to the internet, watching how young people in other parts of the world stood up, Indonesia, Nepal, Iraq. So this movement showed that when youth unite, they can shake the entire system.
The winds of change have reached Morocco too, where young people are taking to the streets under the banner Gen Z 212. Their main demand: stop building a new football stadium for the 2030 World Cup and spend the money on education and health instead. The movement has organized largely through Discord, a platform built for community and peer-to-peer engagement, with around 200 million active users every month.
الناس كيطلبوا مدارس ومستشفيات، ما كيطلبوش شي حاجه مستحيله، شي حاجه اللي ضروري خصها تكون في المغرب. الناس ما فاهمينش هذا الشيء، فين هي الحكومه في هذا الشيء؟
علاش خارجين؟ خويا حنا ما بغينا لا كره لا والو، حنا بغينا الصحة والشعب والدينا تيموتوا.
Across these movements, it's not just frustration that unites them, it's the symbolism. The now viral straw hat flag, taken from the Japanese anime One Piece, has become the unofficial emblem of Gen Z protests worldwide. In the series, the pirate crew behind the flag fights for freedom, helps the oppressed, and challenges corrupt authority. Today, that same flag has been reimagined as a symbol of resistance, appearing on cars, in homes, and flying high at protests across the globe. A new slogan just hit the music world: death to Spotify. In late September, indie musicians gathered in Oakland, California for a sold-out series of talks aimed at getting artists and fans to quit the music app. The events drew speakers from community radio stations, indie labels, and DJ collectives. What started as a small local meetup quickly drew international attention, with artists now planning similar events around the world. The talks come as the global backlash against Spotify moves from niche to mainstream. And for many listeners and artists, the reason to end Spotify vary.
Here's a few reasons why I canceled Spotify, and I think you should too. One, the newest news is they are now running an ICE recruitment ad on Spotify.
I was just trying to enjoy my music on Spotify, and I get an ad, and it starts with millions of dangerous illegals are rampaging the streets. Join ICE today.
Two, they've invested over $700 million into AI-powered military tech.
Helsing, a company that was founded in 2021, is a German military tech firm that specializes in AI-based warfare systems such as battlefield drone surveillance, cybersecurity tools, aircrafts, submarines, and more. When you read stories of Palestinian children with bullets in their hearts, it is because drones developed by companies like this are being utilized on the battlefield. It is incredible that Spotify doesn't have money to pay its artists, actual funding, but it has money to literally profit off of war.
They unfairly pay their artists, and they have so many security breaches.
AI-generated music. I don't know if y'all have heard of the band Velvet Sundown, but they aren't real. They're AI-made, and yet they show up on playlists with hundreds of thousands of streams. What this means for real artists is they're losing their visibility and their income to fake music, when Spotify doesn't even label these tracks yet. And for small artists, the platform isn't financially sustainable, even if you do have thousands of streams. Some experts actually say that Spotify's algorithm favors safe, familiar music to keep listeners engaged, which makes it even harder for indie artists to break through. The platform shaped our listening habits, but it's also raised questions about the value of music in the streaming era.
But will musicians or listeners really have the nerve to boycott Spotify for good? The organizers behind Death to Spotify say it's not about shutting the app down. They just want listeners to think harder about how and where they consume music. Meanwhile, some artists have already jumped ship, migrating to other streaming platforms in protest. And some are even hitting back through music itself. Take Australian band Formidable Vegetable and their track Spotify, Where Music Goes to Die.
money made from artists' music to invest in war machines and line the pockets of billionaires whose hands are far from clean. So we packed our bags, paddle and bend canvas, where to go to hear all our songs. Or support us on Patreon, 'cause profiting from war is wrong. Spotify, where music goes to die. Funding killer drones using AI. Spotify, you want war and genocide? Well, we'd rather not be here if you don't mind.
OpenAI's new text-to-video tool Sora 2 is breaking records. The app was downloaded more than 1 million times in under 5 days. That's faster than ChatGPT at launch. Now topping the Apple App Store in the US, Sora generates 10-second, hyper-realistic videos from simple text prompts. The surging growth is remarkable, especially since it's only available by invite and only in North America for now. But the hype comes with controversy. The app is facing a backlash over its handling of copyrighted material and AI depictions of deceased public figures.
Imagine your dad died in front of you when you were 2, and people started making these fake AI videos showing him making racist jokes and talking about pooping his pants. It's crazy to think about, but that's the reality for people like the daughter of civil rights activist Malcolm X. And it's all thanks to Sora 2, the new AI tool by the company that runs ChatGPT. Sora's videos are extremely realistic, and you can only make them of people with their consent, except for dead activists, actors, celebrities, and other historical figures. So now trolls online have been taking people like Martin Luther King, Mr. Rogers, Tupac Shakur, putting them into all of these really crude, racist, mocking videos. And many other viewers seem to think they're real. Tatum Hunter and I started calling the loved ones of people who had been faked into these videos. We wrote a story about it in the Washington Post. Some of these family members are horrified. Malcolm X's daughter told us she could barely watch the videos. They were so hurtful. She asked why the company OpenAI wasn't treating people like her dad with the same morality, conscience, and care that they'd want for their own families. So why would OpenAI allow this? Well, they say there's a strong free speech interest in making videos of historical figures. But it's also possible they just did it for the attention. Sora is now one of the most downloaded apps in the world. And as one AI expert told us, memeable synthetic resurrection content is going to get more clicks. Or maybe the company's just not afraid of being sued. The families can't really file a claim for defamation, and the law is also kind of questionable around post-mortem publicity rights. All of which means we're basically in a world now where you have zero control over how your face and body and memory are warped and monetized after you die.
But not all AI creations are sparking moral panic. Some are just delightfully weird. Lately, musicians accompanied by animals are going viral. Accompanied in the musical sense and in a much more literal one.
Don't let the ashes speak. Set the ground from under my feet. Can't break me, I fight back harder. This is the sound. Carry us higher, carry us home. Shine like the morning, bright as the dawn. Our hearts are one. You're in the veins, lightning in my lungs. I won't quit, I won't run.
Go on, little one.
And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.